Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to jump right into a really powerful database service from Amazon. We're talking about DynamoDB. So let's kick things off with a question. Do you have a project, maybe something that's growing, and you need a database that's not just fast, but super flexible and can scale up without breaking a sweat? If you're nodding along, then you are absolutely in the right place. All right, so what is this thing, DynamoDB? Well, at its heart, it's what's called a managed NoSQL database service from AWS. And the key thing to know is that it was built from day one for one thing, performance, at pretty much any scale you can imagine. You know, if you've ever worked with a traditional database, you know they have these really rigid tables and structures. NoSQL is totally different. Databases like DynamoDB are all about flexibility. The big idea, the thing to really remember, is that the database adapts to your data. You don't have to force your data to fit into some predefined box. Okay, so you're ready to get started. The very first choice you've got to make is where you're going to do your work. And right off the bat, you've got two fantastic options. And here they are. It's your first big decision. You can go with the full-blown web service. This is the real deal, running in the AWS cloud, ready for production, and it even has a great free tier to get you started. Or you can download the local version that just runs right on your own computer. Perfect for when you're just messing around, testing things out offline. The way I see it, if you're just prototyping by yourself, go local. It's fast, it's free. But the second you need to work with a team or connect to other AWS stuff, you want to be on the web service. All right, decision made. You've picked your environment, so now what? How do you actually talk to DynamoDB? How do you make it do things?
Well, the good news is you've got a whole bunch of tools to choose from. If you're a visual person, there's a GUI for that. If you live in the command line, you're covered. If you want to write code in, say, Python or Java, there are libraries or SDKs for that. And there's even a special tool called NoSQL Workbench that's just for designing and visualizing your data. Basically, no matter how you like to work, there's an option for you.
Let's start with the visual one, the AWS Management Console. Think of it as your point-and-click dashboard for DynamoDB. It's awesome for creating tables, checking on things, and just generally managing your database without having to write a single line of code. It's probably where most people start.
But if you're someone who loves the terminal, there's the AWS CLI. And this thing is powerful. It gives you scriptable control over everything. You can literally build, manage, and automate your entire database setup just by typing commands. Super cool for automation.
Okay, enough talk. Let's get to the fun part. We're actually going to create our first table. This is where all these ideas we've been talking about stop being abstract and become totally real. And it's not complicated, I promise. It's really just 4 simple steps. We're going to focus on the most important bits you need to know, and it all starts with something called keys. So the first key you have to understand is the partition key. You might also hear it called the hash key. This is the big one. It's the primary way DynamoDB identifies your data, and it's how it physically stores it to make looking things up incredibly fast. So for our example, a music library, the artist's name is a perfect partition key. Then there's the sort key, or range key. Now, this one's optional, but it is so useful. What it does is organize all the items that share the same partition key. So if our artist is the partition key, all of their songs can be neatly sorted by the song title. This makes it super easy to find a specific song or a whole list of them. And honestly, this combination of partition and sort key, that's the secret sauce. It's what makes DynamoDB so fast for these kinds of queries. Okay, now let's look at the command that actually makes this happen. Don't get bogged down by the syntax here, just follow the logic. See how we first define our attributes? We're saying, hey, there's going to be an artist and a song title. Then, right after, in the key schema, we tell DynamoDB what to do with them. We're saying artist is the hash key, that's our partition key, and song title is the range key, our sort key. That's it. This command is literally us describing our data model in code. So you hit enter on that command, and DynamoDB just goes to work. For a split second, you'll see a status that says creating, but then almost instantly, it'll flip to active. And boom, just like that. Your table is created, it's live, and it's ready for you to start putting data into it. Pretty cool, right? You've officially created your first table. So where do you go from here? Because this is really just the beginning. If you want to keep this momentum going, here's what I do. First, check out the hands-on tutorials that are built right into the AWS console. Then, seriously, download and play with the NoSQL Workbench. It is a total game changer for planning out your data before you build.
And of course, when you're ready to start coding for real, there are tons of practical code examples out there, plus a free digital course on DynamoDB basics. All fantastic resources.
So you can see that getting started is actually way easier than you might think. You now have the fundamental building blocks, the core ideas, to create a really powerful and scalable database. So the real question isn't how do I start anymore? The question is, what are you going to build?